perfect and extremely delicious food dish? Have you thought about how to revamp some of your well-known family recipes that you've eaten your whole life? But personally, I never thought about that there was a way to revamp some of the well-known craft box recipes. But after cooking in my kitchen and discovering new recipes, I was able to see that there is a way to make another mac and cheese that's different from the craft box mac and cheese. So today I will show you how to make mac and cheese from scratch, the ingredients you'll need, and how it should turn out in the end. So personally, I do agree that it does take a little bit more time because I'm not able just to throw in the noodles and put it in the powdered cheese. But if you keep doing it, it will be well worth the time. From according to the article from the Pittsburgh Tribune Review titled "Whites Pair Perfectly with Quintessential Comfort Food," published in January 2018, they said making macaroni and cheese from scratch takes a little pre-planning, but the effort pays off with a superior creamy texture and rich flavors. Like they said, making macaroni and cheese from scratch does take a little bit more time, but it will work out because the flavor will be ultimately better. Not only is the flavor better, but it makes it worth it because you cook it with love in your own kitchen. So the reason why mac and cheese is flavorful is because of some of the ingredients that it consists of. So like I said earlier, some of the ingredients that you're going to need is you're going to first need some butter, and you're going to have that butter in a pan. You can do something like this, or you can do something a little bit smaller. And in that pan, you will let the butter melt, and once the butter is melt and you're stirring it, then you're going to take some 2 tablespoons of flour, and you're going to put that flour in and let the flour and the butter mix. And you don't want it to burn or anything, so because you don't want it to burn, you're going to add in milk. You're going to add in 2 cups of milk, and then once you let the 2 cups of milk heat up along with the butter and the flour, then that's going to help make your roux. Well, actually, the roux is the butter and the flour, but then you're adding the milk to the roux. And so once the milk is heated up enough, you want it to be hot so that when you start to pour in your cheese, you can use any cheese. For the cheese, I use about 1 to 1.5 bags of cheese because it's going to make the flavor of the mac and cheese. And so once you do that, it's going to make the cheese sauce. It's going to be so good. And then you can also add in salt and pepper to taste so that you're able to do that. So according to Carrie Sondy from the Washington Post, in this article titled 8 Must-Have Mac and Cheese Recipe from Classic to Adventurous, published in February 2020, she said, "We're not here to tell you that there's something better than your cherished family recipe, mac and cheese, but we're here to tell you that there are different tasty recipes in their own right." So yes, there are so many different recipes, but if you're willing to give this one out a try, it will be really good, and you'll be able to play with it in your own way, from revamping the box craft mac and cheese to revamping your own homemade mac and cheese. So if you do all these directions correctly, your box mac and cheese your mac and cheese homemade from scratch will turn out perfectly. So if done correctly, your mac and cheese will turn out beautiful and taste good. So if from personal experience, after making this mac and cheese, I was able to see this fly off the table. So according to Eric Williams from the article titled "Ways to Elevate Comfort Food Mac and Cheese," published in November 2020, he said, "Not overcooking the pasta and not overcooking the cheese is the secret to having a good mac and cheese." So what you want to do is you can use another pot as well, or you're going to want to take your noodles. And I didn't mention this at first because I wanted you guys to know the most important step, because you do not want to cook the noodles too long or too short. So you want to bring the water to a boil and then add the noodles in, so that you'll be able to have the perfect noodles. So, in order to have the perfect macaroni and cheese, you have to cook everything correctly. This includes the noodles so that they will not be too soft or too hard. So, like I said earlier, it was hard to imagine a revamped mac and cheese because I love the box mac and cheese. But if made correctly using the right ingredients, like I said earlier, then it'll be better than the box mac and cheese and have more rich flavor. This mac and cheese will be filled with a blessed flavor. I highly encourage you to try this recipe and to see the good it can bring into your life.